Yo, what is going on, everybody? There is so much to talk about, just so much to discuss, and so much to talk about. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. My name is SERG VICENTE. I am the host of the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling. We are absolutely talking about the Royal Rundown. My name is SERG VICENTE, and next to me over here, that's the homie. We're gonna introduce her in a hot second. But before we get to that, what we're going to go ahead and do, let you know what is on today's menu. We're going to go ahead and talk about today. And everybody who's watching live right now on YouTube, or the Scrap News YouTube, and on the Fire Podcast YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. And make sure you subscribe. If you like what we're doing, you like talking about pro wrestling, and you know other people like pro wrestling, tell them about this fantastic show, because it doesn't get better than this. Every Tuesday night, right after NXT, myself, and whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce her now. My co-host of the evening. She comes in each and every week, my sister from another mister. I'm telling you guys, she keeps lying to y'all, saying that Paul Heyman didn't say that, she was the next great thing. But you know what? It is what it is. She needs to be booking these matches, none other than Miss Drede. Miss Drede, what is going on? Welcome to the show.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Let
me get you back over here. Hold on. Let's fix this. There we go. How was everything? Thank you so much for joining me on the show. How was your weekend? Before we even get into it, like I said, usually I rifle off a bunch of stuff, and you guys know how I get down. But since there is so much to talk about, I really felt the need to go ahead and bring Ms. Drede in today and kind of really, just right from the jump. So like I said, on today's menu, we're going to go ahead and discuss. We're going to go ahead and recap every single thing WrestleMania weekend. AEW, I'm sorry, one more week. I'm going to have to ask you guys to take a seat into the back of the bus, because we ain't going to have y'all today. We're going to go ahead and talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about WWE, and we're going to talk about some sports entertainment. So, Dre, man, so how is that? Like, how are you still buzzing from this weekend? Please tell me. People in the comments right now who are watching live, you guys tell me, how are you feeling right now?
Fam, I'm tired. Okay, WrestleMania weekend is tiring. You understand? There's so much as a fan. It is just a lot to consume. And I know you keep saying throwing everybody else in the back of the bus, but like WrestleMania weekend is like just when all of pro wrestling comes together as a family unit, and it's just like, hey, y'all, we in here. And I mean, I'm gonna throw this in there as well. Supercard of Honor, Ring of Honor's show this past weekend was amazing.
It's pretty good.
Was pretty amazing. So we just got to shout them out one time. But WrestleMania 2 nights, lots of stuff went down. Raw after Mania, not so much, but it still happened.
We just got that right now, because
a lot of stuff went down.
I have notes.
I know you do.
I have notes. So, but before we get to my notes, let's go ahead and jump into it. This weekend, Dallas, Texas, the most vile state. No, I'm playing. Dallas, Texas, a fantastic stadium. The scene itself was incredible. And look, for somebody like myself, and I've told you guys before, like I said, I strayed away for a while. I'm finally getting back. And this is the first WrestleMania that I could actively remember. I sat down the whole time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch. I've always checked in. I see a match here and there. But this time I was like, for the build up to the Raw and SmackDown, I'm watching every single component. Okay, I'm locked in.
He's in there.
And being that we were all locked in, I was locked in. I was excited about it. And like I said, I think, and look, let me ask you, do you think that the show lived up to the hype in terms of WrestleManias? And again, we're going to go ahead and obviously, guys, today, that's how we're doing. We're just recapping WrestleMania. And if you want to tell people right now, tell them right now. Actively.
Right now.
We are talking about this. And if you like what we're talking about, let people know, subscribe, share, to the best damn show in all of pro wrestling, sports entertainment. And that's one thing I'll say about this. And let me ask you this. I think this was kind of cool. It seemed like we got one day pro wrestling, one day a whole lot of sports entertainment. Am I tripping, or is that the vibe that you got?
That's a really good way of putting it. I think I said in our lovely little group chat thing, I think I was like, night 1 to me personally, for like the type of wrestling I enjoy, night one to me was a better night as a whole, like cohesively.
Yes.
And then night two was just a whole lot of fun. And I think just
Crazy.
fun. Just, you're not going not a 5-star match saw this nothing was 5 stars or none of that
not even
technical
close
stuff. It was extremely sports entertainment-y. And like I think that there's room for all of it, and we got a lot of that. Honestly didn't think that you were so but you're sorry. It was a really perfect way, I think, to describe the difference between the two nights. If we had to stamp a word or so on each one, I preferred night one as a whole. I think this was for the first time. I mean, this is what, the 3rd year they've done 2 nights of WrestleMania.
Where would you rank it amongst those? There's only been 3.
I think this is the best 2-night joint that they did. However, I think this year's could have squeezed into 1. I think there were enough matches that didn't. There were either there was enough matches that didn't necessarily need to be on there that we could have maybe squeezed it into 1 night.
Absolutely.
Or you could have put some more important things like our Intercontinental Championship and our U.S. title championship on the card and left off a couple of 2 things. And it would have been better. However, those are my nitpicky things about like what didn't work well. It was fun. I had a ball watching both nights.
So I'll say this. And you know me, and I'll say I thoroughly, like, night one, I was, like I said, jumping on my couch, screaming, taking my shirt off, throwing like it was just the best night. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is what it's supposed to be like. Every component of it. And again, guys, we'll talk about all the matches. We're gonna go ahead and jump down. We just building it up for y'all. We just talking about the feel of it.
We just vibing.
You know what I'm saying? so like, that's one of those things that, like, it was such a it built so well. That the night one. Everything about it from the
match order was perfect.
Perfect.
It was
perfect.
We're
consistently getting a little bit more, a little bit more hype, right? And I can't wait to really talk about these matches. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's go ahead and jump into it, because I'm gonna go ahead and heap some praise on some people that I've been shitting on for a very long time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and show some love to some people that you guys might not think I like very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and give some shout outs and some, you know what? I honestly don't have any real I do have some issues that I really got. I have notes. All right. And let's go ahead and start off. All right. So let's talk about this, and let's go ahead and kick it off one of these notes, because I just want to get it out of the way. Okay. First night, I'm hyped. How y'all gonna just cut? How y'all just gonna cut King Woods and Kofi versus Sheamus, Ridge Holland, or should I, as honestly, the way they should be called and they need to be presented from here on out is Butch, Botch, and Bitch. I love that. That is exactly what they need to be called from
Xavier
here on
Woods. And Xavier Woods dropped that during the pre-show interview. Now, only us real wrestling nerds are going to be watching the 2-hour pre-show.
And I was locked in.
Locked all the way in. And when Xavier Woods dropped that, I was like, first of all, I love them, but we could have threw this match on the pre-show. He could have dropped that and then get dressed, go whoop their ass, right then and there. That would have been wonderful. That would have been fine. I would have been cool with that. But at the same, as much as I agree with you, I hate an advertised match that doesn't go on. But
absolutely.
Of course, entertainment is entertainment and it's live. So anything can happen. And those things are understandable. They got to do their match on night 2, but they got it, obviously was rushed, obviously didn't have enough time. You know what I mean? Yeah. To me, you could have cut 1 to 2 other things and gave this more time. You could have also made a few things shorter to give this more
and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Definitely a lot of things could have been cut short. But Let's start off with some fun, and let's go ahead and finish off with what we really want to talk about. Okay, we know exactly what we're talking about. Give me a hell yeah. Well, we go ahead. We got it.
Yeah.
Let's start off here, and I want to get your points on this. Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair gets the dub, and honestly. And this is what I'm sorry.
Just say it.
Best
Just say
match
it,
that I have ever seen from Becky Lynch. I have said for a very long time, I don't think Becky Lynch is good. I think Becky Lynch gets carried, and I think that she really only performs to the level of her partner. So I've never truly been a fan. And guess what? I wasn't here about the man. So I couldn't care less about the man because I wasn't here for the man. And I didn't see the build. I went back and watched the matches, and to me, she still wasn't good.
But we've been trying to tell you that, right?
But
come on.
Saturday night.
Come on.
Becky Lynch wrestled her ass off. Okay, that was pro wrestling. Oh my goodness, she went out there, and one thing that I loved is that you actually saw Becky Lynch take control. You saw her being the ring general, and you never really see her do that. I saw her physically telling her, like literally leading the dance, and honestly, not even to sound silly, but what a beautiful dancer was. That was a fantastic match. Both women went out there and just performed, put it out on the line. I mean, we got my girl Bianca looking like, hey, you guys, like she looking crazy right now because she got kicked directly in the
Becky got that boot right into her face,
booted her,
and they kept going because they're
so please, let me know. How was this match for you?
Match of the weekend. This was the match of the weekend for me. This was the one that literally had me stressed. I was knowing Bianca was going to win, right? I'm like, they got to give it to Bianca. This is how the story's progressing, but I was still stressed. I bid on every near fall. They hit hard. They were so stiff with one another, which of course is great. And we see that with the men all the time. We see it with women, but they just don't get a chance to really showcase it so much. WWE gave them time, which I love. They gave this title, the Raw Women's title, the respect it deserved with their time. The entrances, one of the things Mania kind of lacked, like not as, usually that's one of the biggest things we see. Almost every big match has two kind of extra entrances, and there wasn't that many this year, but Bianca and Becky, they had them, and it would just it made it feel, it was a big fight feel off the top. The story was amazing. This is what happens when everything in pro wrestling works together, and then you get the great match on top of it, and then you get the result that makes sense. It was wonderful. It was the match of the weekend for me. There was literally not a single flaw in this joint at all.
No.
Yes, all of this was wonderful.
I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if it was my match of the weekend. It was definitely top two. I'll say that. Yes. It's definitely top two. It was fantastic. I'm so happy the way they put a bow on it. Essentially, at least this part of the storyline. But let's go ahead, and anything else you want to say about this match specifically? And again, honestly, and this is what I say. And real quick. Moving forward with Bianca Belair, they need to go ahead. She needs to be like the Undertaker. I want the undefeated
Mrs. WrestleMania.
Bianca Belair, Mrs. WrestleMania. She needs to be undefeated, wrecking women for the next 17 years. That is what I want to see.
When you start your career, because we got to remember she's just starting her main roster career. She is 2 for 2 at Manias for titles. Not just regular matches,
not just
for main titles. She was SmackDown Women. Her and Sasha made history last year. Yep. And to me, another literally game-changing, wonderful, I think maybe top match to me. It was probably one of my favorite. It might have been my favorite match of last year's Mania. I got to go back and watch it. But I just remember it being, again, big fight feel, story makes sense. Let's go. Like all of it. It's when pro wrestling all comes together
Absolutely.
and you get the match properly.
Yeah.
It's magic. It's everything you want. And
Oh, it
again,
was so
this match
dope.
stole the weekend for me. It
It was
stole the
great.
weekend for me
It
all the
was
way
great.
around. It was everything all the other people's faves matches had. It had all of those things plus the wrestling. Like plus the solid ring work. Plus the, oh my God, are they really hurt? Oh, Becky got a black eye. I mean, Bianca got a black eye.
I was painting a picture.
Dang. Why is he? Why Katie? Why you like this? But she hasn't been wrestling as long as them. You know what I mean? So she is still the rookie compared to the horsewomen. And I mean, the natural progression here is her and Charlotte for a title next year.
Absolutely.
And she beats Charlotte because then she is the horsewomen slayer. She has beat all of them.
I love it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Continue, please.
It's time. That's all I have. That's it. That's all
I love it. And really, that would be a great way to do it. I love that. And speaking of one of the other horsewoman, let's go ahead and that sounds so terrible. When it came out, it just felt nasty. In fact, before we talk about that, actually, let's talk about this. Let's mix it up a little bit. The other match I want to talk about is The Miz and Logan Paul defeating the Mysterios.
Yeah.
But then the Miz turns on Logan Paul. But before we get to that, look.
Yo, the comments, Serge. You gotta wait, Serge, before the comments. The comments. Coming? You gotta go back. You gotta go back. Because points are being made here. So
okay. I'm here.
Charlotte retained. Joey says Charlotte retained because Bianca won is his take. That's a good take. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Joey also saying that Bianca versus Ronda would be one of the most awkward matches of all time. Yes. And do you really want to see that? Does anyone really want to see that?
Again, I have notes, so we can discuss
we'll
Ronda.
Talk more about that with Charlotte and Ronda.
This in a moment because those are some good takes, and honestly, it's a great way to go ahead and bring it back around and kind of tie that story together. So let's take a little pause just to transition to this one because sign the Miz the fuck up. Like somebody not the Miz, Logan Paul. Somebody needs to sign Logan Paul up. This dude found his place. He found exactly. Stop boxing whoever, doing whatever you want. Yo, WWE is his home. The fit was just fantastic. I think Sasha's dude did it, if I'm not mistaken. I saw him taking pictures of it. He might have. We can check that in a little bit.
Oh, Makasi, I'll check that out.
Yeah, I think he might have done that. But the gear looked fantastic. He can actually wrestle. He had some great moves. I mean, it was fun. It was so much fun watching him. And then obviously the Miz turning on him. To me, this was another one of the highlights. It was one of the things that I didn't expect to like as much as I did, but I did. It was a lot of fun. What were your thoughts on this match?
I was extremely sports entertained. So
sports entertained.
I was extremely sports entertained. I mean, the what those words actually mean in context for WWE. Like, if you didn't know what sports entertainment was, show someone that match. Show them that match. Like, what is sports entertainment? What do you mean? Show them that match. It was really that. And the Miz turning on Logan, to me, I popped so hard. I was like, you gotta out heel the heel. The best heels gotta out heel the heel. And I loved that. It's great. It was really, really fun. And I'm not a Logan Paul or Paul brother anything. I don't follow them. And I just knew he found his home. Sports entertainment is his home. That's where he belongs. His brother was on the pre-show doing exactly what he was supposed to do.
Being a manager. It was the two of them were so much fun. I really enjoyed it. The match was fun. The mysterious. Let me ask you this: two things. First of all, how did you like the respect and the love that they showed and the homage to Eddie Guerrero in the Mysterios WrestleMania gear? What did you think about that? Because again, I have notes.
Yes, Serge got notes, and I loved it. It was great. You know what I mean? Like here, the thing about us wrestling nerds is we love when that happens. We love to see a call back to something from the past be brought into the current, and it's dope. I love that. And of course, everybody's got the jokes, got to pay homage to his daddy Eddie Guerrero because of the old custody and Dominic storyline between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero back in the day,
That was great.
which was
So great.
hilarious. And they know
So
what they're
funny.
doing when they do that. They know what they're
Yes.
doing when they do that. And that's just
Absolutely.
a great way. If you're going to be a wrestler in 2022, you have to know it's fun to troll the internet in your work. And that's just to me, that was kind of both. It was paying homage, trolling the internet a little bit. You know exactly what you're doing. Stir the pot, have a ball,
Yeah, for sure.
watch the memes fly, and it's going to be a good time.
It was great. It was great. The match actually was really entertaining. Obviously having the heels win and then having the Miz out Miz. And honestly, when they first won, the first thing that went in my head, I was like, they need to go on a tag team run. Like, I want them on Raw tomorrow doing a tag team run. Then he turned on him, and I'm like, I still need him to go to. I still need him to.
So
to
who
be together.
can Logan tag with?
Yeah, like who can we put Logan with? Logan and Pat McAfee. I don't care. Let's figure something out.
Nah, get Logan and Miz, and so get Logan and Miz into what was his name? The therapist that Kane and Daniel Bryan had to go to when they were beefing. Somebody in this chat's gonna know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Y'all
Dr. Shelby. I think it's Dr. Shelby. And when Kane and Daniel Bryan was a tag team and they were beefing, get Logan Paul and the Miz to do some of those sketches, and then we'll get them back. That actually would be hilarious. I think that would be funny.
I love it. So, real quick, anything else you want to say about this match? But I mean, what would you give it? Is this like and again, we're not doing star ratings and shit,
we're not.
But like, was this an enjoyable match for you? You really enjoyed this?
This was a top tier celebrity match. This is one of those Bad Bunny joints where, hey, you can tell this person is an athlete. And this person took this seriously, and also had a whole bunch of fun with it. It's perfect. Really good fit for him, for real.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun watching them.
It was so much fun.
It was great. I mean,
and it was enough time. It was like absolutely. It wasn't too long. It was just enough. Like that timing of that match, I think, was really well. Whoever produced that did a really good job with that.
And again, I did have an issue with some timing of some of the other ones. So that one was, it just felt like day one, it moved like perfectly. It was like every match was the perfect amount of time. It's like it gave you just enough before like the next one. Your sports, entertainment cup didn't run over. It was right there on the brink of running over, and it said, no, I'm good. And then it pulled you right to the ledge again, and it pulled you back. Night one was fantastic for that. All right, let's move right along. Let's talk about this one. SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair goes out there and defeats Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey takes this L, but I have something to say about Ronda Rousey in terms of she was getting some flack about some MMA in the MMA community, and I'll say this, all right, I have never been one who has been the biggest of Ronda Rousey fans, okay, like in terms of in or out of the ring or even skill wise or anything. Like I've been very critical of Ronda Rousey, but you are it's asinine to sit there and discredit what she has done and what she has meant to the sport of mixed martial arts. And to like discount that is just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like it really blows my mind that people like, again, I got my own beef with Ronda, but like that's not the one. That's the right. Like those points that some of them were making or taking shots, it didn't make any sense. Like they were all watching her doing what she did there. Like y'all being haters. Like I don't know. Like I had no time.
I mean, my thing is, you don't have to personally like someone to understand what they belong, like what they bring to the table. Like you can't. That's just stupid. That's hating. When you're just like, nah, they're not. They're trash. I mean, they might be trash to you, but do you not see what they did for the industry or for this moment or whatever it was? Like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And again, I say that being somebody that I'll be very honest. I have never been the biggest fan of hers. Like I said, but again, I'm very certain like she's important. Again, same thing I say about Conor McGregor. I'm not the biggest Conor McGregor fan, but at the end of the day, you're a fool to not to talk about their importance and to acknowledge the importance and what they brought to the table. Come on, don't be a hater. All right, but in terms of her here, again, another one. Ronda Rousey's one that I say wrestling stiff. You're out here like a robot. You have the worst shadow boxing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. But yo, she put on a good match. This was a good one. Her, and obviously you have Charlotte in there with you. I mean, one of the four horsewomen. I mean, this was another surprisingly good match. What were your thoughts?
You kind of said it. Charlotte is kind of known for dragging out the best match out of several women, right? There's several women where you're gonna be like, okay, who was so and so's best match, and it's usually against Charlotte Flair. So there's that. I think this was her best match in this run by leaps, bounds,
Absolutely.
and Gabby Douglas flips. Like,
yep,
she turned it all the way
on. Okay, my bad. You froze in a weird way for a second using them.
Was I throwing it? Lord, was I throwing up signs? Jesus. I talk with my hands. It's the dancer in me. No. But this match was, I watched it. It was fun. It didn't do it for me, but it definitely was like, it was exactly what it needed to be for this night.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely was that. And I also think the right woman went over.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I know everyone is. I know a lot of people are tired of Charlotte Flair winning everything, but she's a Flair. They're gonna, WWE loves
she's good.
Reoccurring story. And Ric Flair was the champion 782 times, so they're gonna go for that as well. With Charlotte. And I think and the cool thing about her is she's actually that good. So like
there, exactly.
You might be annoyed by her, but she's also that good, and that's what matters to me. So I think this works great. I also want her to I want her to go on her little Roman run, and I need her and Bianca to go ahead and do what Roman and Brock did this year. I need them to go ahead and do that next year.
I'm happy with that. I think that would honestly be really dope. I mean, and I think it's time, right? Let's have some dominant champions and really let's build to that. I think that would be a really fun time.
Let's put some prestige on our titles.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the biggest criticisms of WWE that I agree with. And me, I love everybody, right? Love every company. That's my jam. Yeah. But one of the criticisms I 1000% agree with is too many titles. So if there's so many titles, then what's the prestige and what's the point, right? We're supposed to be doing this to be the champs. And if there's a jillion titles, then, I didn't win this one. Let me go find that one. It's like, come on, let's build that hierarchy back up, that US Intercontinental and then Universal Championships for the fellas. And then for the women, we got our tag belt and we've got our singles belts. That would make sense to me.
And let me ask you this.
I'm hoping that's what we're building to.
Let me ask you this, because I'm seeing it pop up here. Do you think there are too many titles?
Absolutely. I mean, there's less
which
titles
one
now
should
since
go?
we have an undisputed one. I think I think,
but they already said they're bringing another one back, aren't they, for Raw?
I don't think they said that.
Oh,
I didn't hear that. Maybe I missed it, but I don't remember hearing that. I thought the first time they really confirmed that this was going to be an undisputed world champion was when they announced it on on Sunday when had the match, a unification. We weren't really sure if it was a real life unification, but they actually used the word unification on Sunday. So I hope that we get to that for the women as well.
I think that'd be amazing.
I think there should always be. I think there should be one big title, and I'm okay with one or two, depending on the size of your roster, mid-card titles and a tag belt.
I think that's where it should be. I'm with you. I think that's how it should be. That makes total sense. And honestly, I would like to put some respect on the Intercontinental title. That's one of the OG badass titles. Can we please put a little respect, a little French kiss for that title, man? It's deserving. It's one of the amazing titles. We've seen people,
that prestigious title. The people who had that, man,
show some respect.
Please.
All right. But that in terms of this match, I got right person went over. It was whatever. We liked it. Good match, good place in the card. Let's talk about what we want to talk about. the KO show. We are talking about the KO show, and oh my God, let me just say, this was everything my 12-year-old heart could have wanted and more. Damn, whatever Kevin. First of all, Kevin Owens, brother, to you did your thing. Okay, I loved everything he did, but yo, when that glass broke, I was up on my couch. I'm jumping up and down. I'm laughing. I don't drink beer, but I took a huge bong rip. It was fantastic. Loving every second of it. When he stood there, his facial expressions, the way he plays with the crowd. Yo, Stone Cold still got it. And again, even until the moment of when they were both sitting there, we really didn't know what they were going to do. Was he going to get like a couple minutes here, there? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to take like the worst bump ever? Just like, we didn't know what was going to happen. I had no clue. Did you? No, nobody really knew. So I definitely didn't expect like a 20-minute match. I mean, yeah, it was a little slow down, but it was like in slow motion a little bit, but it was fantastic. That was a Stone Cold Steve Austin match. Just how was your describe the feeling that you had.
Go back. I got it. Listen, go back to last week when we were talking about what we were going to do and what we were going to feel when Stone Cold Steve Austin came out for this KO show segment. We said this is all we wanted. All we really wanted was for that glass to break, for him to go out, him to hit a couple 2 stunners on KO, drink a couple beers, and send us home right. I would have been happy with that.
I would have seen a stunner and been chill. I would have been good.
That man, once KO said no holds barred, falls count anywhere, let's do it right now, and that bell rang, and the crowd popped again. So did I. And then it was okay, cool. We're gonna get like a cute little 5 minutes. He's gonna hit one stunner, boom, done. No, that man took bumps. That man took a suplex on
He took a suplex on concrete.
That man is almost 60. He is almost 60. I think he's 57, something like that. Like, I think he's
54, but I mean, we can give him 57.
I thought whatever. Man
he might be 57.
Man's broke his neck and has 2 knee braces. Okay, he shouldn't, is what we're saying. He shouldn't be able to do these things. And he did for our entertainment. And yes, you mentioned that it was slow, but like the thing about slow paced matches is they work with the right people. We will sit through Stone Cold carrying KO by his neck for a little while just to catch that suplex on the concrete. We'll do that because Stone Cold's built up so much goodwill with the fans and so much goodwill with all of us that we will literally sit there and people sit there after the show for hours just to watch that man drink beer and talk mess. So it's just like you can do that with the right people. And that was a perfect way to send folks home for the first night of WrestleMania. Like as much as I would have argued that one of the title matches, Charlotte Ronda or Bianca Becky, I prefer Bianca Becky, should have main evented because of belt. I mean, this is Stone Cold, and this was his last match.
Exactly. And in his home state,
his retirement match in his home state. It's like this. There's just too many special circumstances for us to not ignore that. And it's like, all right, you know what? Cool. Go ahead. And I don't think anybody on that card would have been upset to be on the undercard of that. Nobody's upset about that.
He's one of the GOATs. He's one of the guys that, I mean, I was so happy for Kevin Owens. Just watching, I was watching him, and I could just imagine, like, I grew up, like I said, wanting to, I played baseball. Like I said, we went to Illinois State together. Like I played baseball for a second, and I grew up loving Ken Griffey Jr. I had an opportunity to interview him as a kid. Like that shit's dope, just to talk to him, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, could you imagine a person that you idolized growing up, you wanted to be just like, and you had an opportunity to not just to, I mean, he already gave him his blessing. But to sit out there and actually to use the stunner, but to sit there and actually have a match with him, the first person to have a match with him after 19 years, the last person to have a match with him, bro, was The Rock. and The Rock. Okay,
Former
not
time.
Dwayne, not
No,
Dwayne.
the most
It was The
electrifying man in sports
Rock.
entertainment.
That's who it was.
That guy.
And he was able to go out there and have just a great match. They went out there again. They both took good bumps.
He made Stone Cold look great.
He
really, really
made
did.
him
He
look
did his job. He was a
fantastic.
perfect dance partner
Perfect dance partner.
and I'm not sure anyone else could have done it. I don't think, I think
either.
KO was the perfect person for this moment. And you can just tell afterwards that Stone Cold was thrilled with that, because you think about it. A lot of these wrestlers think about when they retire, they want to stay retired. Like Stone Cold was he was the only one to legitimately stay retired. You know, Shawn Michaels even came back and did that terrible thing at Crown Jewel. You know what I mean? Like, and we just gonna pretend it never happened, but it's fine. And
I wasn't
was the
watching
only
wrestling
one,
then. It's okay. It didn't happen.
it's fine. It never occurred. But Stone Cold was like the only one to never go back on his retirement. And for him to do so, like I mentioned this last week, that means that he trusted KO. He trusted he trusted his body, that, okay, I'm good enough. I can do this. And, I think someone said it in the comments, they give up so much for us fans. Stone Cold knew that this would be great. Stunner versus Stunner. It's kind of like the perfect scenario for him to come back and do something cool. So he did it, and nailed it. Nailed it. Absolutely. It was perfect.
Nailed it. I mean, him could, like, I'm just think about him, like, taking a stunner from Stone Cold was probably so cool. For him, he was probably like, yo, this is the best. So I love that match. I love that match. Okay, let me ask you guys, and in the comments too, you guys let me know. Drea, over under on how many beers Stone Cold drank that night?
Gee, I feel like he
during
drank
the
like
match.
10? At least 3 during the match.
At least 4 full ones.
3 to
I'm
4.
going at least 4. I'm saying
even
4
numbers are good.
Full ones during the match. I'm going with, because my man was sitting here. I'm talking about just straight right from the beginning, crack. And like I know half of it landed on his shirt, but a good amount of it, like a couple of times, it looked like he was like, "Yo, I'm glad I'm drinking this. It's keeping me." I was a little parched. I'm over here. I ain't had to move like this for a while. I'm letting me hydrate a little bit, and you can tell that was his favorite drink. What a plug! What a plug!
What a plug!
Yeah. It was amazing. Every component of it. The crowd was loving it. I loved it. Like I said, it was one of those things that at the end of the show, especially because that's right at the end of the show, I jumped up and down. I was like, yo, this is pro wrestling. This is what it's supposed to be like. And that's what it felt. And it was dope. But that wasn't the end of it. It didn't stop there, people. They had a whole another day. So we're going to go ahead and recap day 2. But before we go ahead and get to that, everybody who's watching live right now on YouTube during the Scrap News, as well as the Fight Podcast, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys go out there and check out the scrapnews.com or .co. I think is that it. But check out the Scrap News, man, for the absolute best in combat sports journalism. I'm telling you, the best articles. You're going to go ahead and find some great stuff up there. Check them out today, not only on the web, check them out on their IG, not their IG, their IG as well, but their YouTube page, because their YouTube page, not only will you find this show, you'll find a couple other ones. There's a women's and MMA show that is fantastic. You see a whole lot of clips on there also. There's so much great content on there. So check that out. Scrap News. That's what's up. All right. Moving right along. And the Fight Podcast. Love y'all. We got merch. Ha! Rocking that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Boop.
That's how we get down. All right. WrestleMania Sunday. Sunday was another look. All in all, it was a pretty good day of wrestling. And like I said, in my opinion, it was the sports entertainment of the 2 days. So look, I'm not even going to go ahead and jump into it. I want to go ahead and let you jump into it. What are your thoughts on this? How did you feel again? Day 2, not picking any specific guys, obviously, because we're going to go ahead and jump through the whole card. But how did you feel in general, overall?
Yeah, as a fan watching, I mean, I won't lie. This one started really slow for me. Like I was kind of like, all right, I know what's coming up, so I'm good. Just for me, the Jackass stuff wasn't my jam. But I do think it was fun. I just thought it was too long. But I do think it was fun. My
We can talk
highlights,
about that one too in a minute. But yeah,
yeah,
continue.
my
Yeah.
highlights, of course, are just small things like I got to bring this up because y'all know who I love. You know, I love me some Big E. New Day coming out in Big E's gear.
That
I
was so
mean,
dope. That
like
was so dope.
that was a cool that was one of those moments. I'm like, I love
I'm
that.
not
Got
crying.
them all in singlets. It's just love. And just remembering, that they're really friends. Like they're really
Yeah.
brothers. And I love
Yes.
that. I love that camaraderie in pro wrestling in general and just anything in
And
general.
shout
But
out to Davenport. What's his first name? The gentleman who does their
yes,
gear.
yes. You had it
Dave
right. You have it right.
Davenport. Yeah,
I think
Davenport,
that's
right?
right. Yes. Yeah.
He's fantastic. He does
Killed
their
it. Nailed
gear.
it amazingly.
He also does Our Heroes Rock with Andreas Hales and Big E as well. He is
Yeah.
fantastic. You guys should check out his IG page. I don't know, dude. He's just fucking dope.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Yeah, it was really. I think that was just like a general highlight for me, even though the match was rushed and we'll talk about that later, of course. And then obviously, Sasha Banks and Naomi being the new women's tag champs. That was a highlight for me. Gotta love
That was
that.
awesome. Yeah, that
Their
was great.
lovely new finisher. They
That
decided to just
finish,
roll
okay,
out.
no, we'll talk about it in a
We'll
second.
talk
But
about it.
that finisher is on it. That is my favorite finisher right now. Like that finisher is up there with the 1D. You know what I'm saying? Like that or the 3D, whatever you want to call that shit. Like that shit is fantastic. And it's
And
one
then
of
of
those
course,
things that shouldn't nobody be able to kick out of that. That looks like one of
nah,
those like it's like
finisher. It's a finisher.
it's
You
a
should be
finisher.
finished.
It's like they came together like Voltron and did that to y'all. Like that's crazy.
Right.
Okay, like
It was
y'all
great.
done, son. All right, but that was fantastic. But let's go ahead and just run through. Let's run through it. Let's go ahead and run
Let's
through
go.
it. And really quick, I'll say actually. I'll give you all my highlights when I have to talk through it. It don't matter.
Walking like you're talking,
What
Serg.
I care doesn't mean anything. You ain't here
Walk
for
it
me
while
no
you're
way.
talking.
All right, so let's go ahead and do this. First thing, it kicked it off, and it was kind of slow, which I was actually surprised, but it's probably because we've seen it 87 times in a row. But it was the Raw Tag Team Championship. RK Bro went out there, got the dub. It was a good match. It was a good match. I think the only thing that really was a drawback from it was that we've seen it so many times. We've seen it, and we literally saw it just a couple days before, and it's hard for them to. What are they going to one up each other? Like, it's not that it was a bad match; it was a fantastic match. We've just seen it, and we know what they can do. And I was excited for this one. I was, and I cannot lie to you. When I saw the Street Profits going out there, going to Dallas Stadium, rocking Niners colors, I was like, oh, my brothers won. We got the dub because everybody knows. I don't even watch football, and I know that the Niners whoop that ass, okay? So every time they're in that building specifically, I'm just saying. But the match itself was a good match. We've seen it before, and to be honest with you, even though I have liked Street Profits to have won, the right team won. The right team won, and then they did their, obviously, we're doing the Gable thing next. But before I even get to that, the match itself, where are we going from here, RK Bro? Does it seem like, because as we saw from Raw, we're about to get the Street Profits versus them? Are the Street Profits going to actually get that belt?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have no idea in terms of, are they actually going to pull the trigger on the Street Profits again? This wouldn't be their first they've been tag champs before, but I would think they would be more equipped to do it now because they were really new when they got them the first time. So I think it would be great. It would be great to do that. I think having them go over RK Bro would be a really good shout, for them as well. So it'd be good for just them on their CV in terms of who they've beaten for the titles. You have to do a character shift for somebody though, right?
Somebody. It has
RK
to.
Bro is such a big face. Now, whether this is the catalyst for the RK Bro breakup we keep thinking is happening,
I don't think they do it. I think
are we going to flip it over?
You have to turn the Street Profits heel. They have to go.
Okay, so this is why I feel like they were thinking of that, and I feel like they pulled back. They pulled back on it on Mania.
Why?
Because I don't know.
Like,
And
that's my thing. It seemed like if people
Randy
were
is such a
liking
good
it.
heel, though. Randy Orton is such a good heel. He like the heelest of heels. He is a
I mean,
classic,
Evil.
legendary heel.
They just had the series,
I'm
and it
just,
was great. And he got to
and he's on there.
like amping up and shit. Yeah, yeah, he was on some
In the
crazy shit.
beginning of the episode,
Yeah,
it
he
was
was doing
love.
that
Yeah,
shit.
it was great.
Ooh,
I just
that dude was
I
killing it.
feel like someone is going to adjust. I don't know who, I don't know what, and I think I'm actually really, I love it when I don't know. I love when I can't see the cards. I love it when I'm not sure what's going to happen. And so when RK Bro won, so dope. Very
Yeah.
dope, because now you really don't know what's going to happen moving forward.
Absolutely. No, you're right. You're real. Yeah, that's real. Because honestly, I wasn't expecting them to win. So when they did, I was
Right.
like, that was when I was like, oh shit, okay, this is dope. I agree with this. What do you feel? Do you think if it's a heel and we're just talking about Randy, wouldn't it be more interesting? And do you think they'll actually end up doing a Riddle turn?
Actually, I would prefer this. I would love a Riddle turn. I would prefer this because you're right. We've never seen it.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that. I would
And
love to see that.
honestly, a Riddle as a heel, I honestly think he'll do a great job at it. I think even keeping his demeanor just kind of be a little bit more dickish, a little bit more mean, a little bit more standoffish. I mean, he's a fighter. It's not like he can't pull it out of somewhere. You know, he legitimately is a badass. So
yeah.
I think it would be something that would be really dope. I would love to see that. I damn near, I wouldn't even, that'd be corny. Never mind. Never mind. All right.
Never mind.
Moving on. I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna embarrass myself. Okay, let's talk about this one next. You know what?
We missed the big one from night one, yo.
What did I say?
We missed a really big one from night one. And Joey's comment just reminded me.
Let me know. Joey,
the return of Cody Rhodes. The return of Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. That happened on night one.
That happened on night one. Oh my God, there's so much happening on night
one. Let's
double back. Homelander came home, yo. Homelander came home, and not only did Homelander come home, he came home in style. He went out there, and the crowd went absolutely nuts when he went out there with Seth Rollins. I mean, Seth played it so beautifully. The facial expressions, the laughing. I mean, and then Cody to go out there and the first thing out of his music's mouth was him say pro wrestling in the world of sports entertainment, and then come out straight Homelander style was something awesome. Even though I know he said he didn't intend to do it, even the little, Stardust little he pulled was kind of fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, he did a lot of cool things, little homages. They both did. It was, in the match itself was an incredible match. And honestly, we're
top
talking
3
about
of the weekend.
best matches of the weekend. Like, again, yeah, that's in my top 2, 3. Like, it's right there. These guys, they were cooking. They were cooking.
Really?
It was like, the people talk about WrestleMania moments. We will all remember where we were when Cody Rhodes came home. It's one of those. It was such a fantastic moment. And for him to be in there with essentially the guy who's been the guy in the WWE for years, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not the face, but come on, who's a more respected pro wrestler?
I would say maybe like the workhorse for the last year and a half or so. Makes everyone he feuds with look good.
And he's so respected within the community. Everybody loves Seth Rollins. So for him to go out there and really work with him and put such a great show on, it was, I loved it. I loved every aspect of it. Salute to Cody. Any thoughts on this one? Guys, you're right. I don't know where my head was. I don't know how I passed this.
No, that's good. It was so much. It was so much. So much happened this weekend. Yeah, my thoughts on this are a couple things. Give Seth Rollins an Oscar, Emmy, some sort of acting award, because his facial expressions, I'm going to go here in a minute too. His facial expressions when Cody came out were so good. Like, give that man awards for acting, for selling, whatever you want to call it, because Seth is a G. He was my 3rd favorite person in the Shield when the Shield came out, and he has literally, slowly but surely Not even slowly but surely. Kind of quickly, actually, when I saw that little Jeff Hardy in him during those matches,
Yeah.
when he was still with the Shield, I was like, you know what? Let me shut up because I like that guy.
Yo, he's
Um,
great, yo.
he's really great. And the fact that this version of his character has adjusted 2 to 3 times is so amazing with just little
So
slight
amazing.
adjustments.
Yeah.
So dope. The match him and Cody put on was incredible.
Insane.
It was
Insane.
so good. It was so good. It was storytelling all through it. Pacing was really nice. It wasn't like wasn't so slow. It was molasses. It was
Right.
the slowish parts were to build to something, and you knew it. And then
Yes,
when it got
absolutely.
there, it never left there. And that was what I loved about that. And I think that was a really great first opponent for Cody.
Absolutely.
Seth can eat that loss and doesn't lose any credibility, which is great. And you can move on in a wonderful way. Now, everyone's saying that Cody and Roman are on a collision course. I mean, Cody's music before it starts says there is more than one wrestling royal family. That's what it says. Roman is the bloodline. That's one of wrestling's royal families.
We the ones.
It's right there. Now, when the heck we're gonna get this match is a whole nother story. I feel like Cody's gonna have to get through a couple of people before we get to the final boss. That is Roman Reigns.
I agree. I agree.
Which is how it should be. I think it should be.
Yeah.
It should be. Cody's gonna wrestle a couple of great people. I think someone had talked about him and Randy Orton need to do a singles match to go back to the legacy moment. Absolutely, that absolutely needs to happen.
Somebody I saw in the
and
comments also were talking about him and KO had a dark match afterwards, and
yes,
that's another great one. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Come on,
that's a great first one for me. If that would be a great first
that
feud.
is
But they
a
got
great
KO
first
doing
one.
some silly stuff right now, so we're not gonna
we're
gonna ignore that.
that.
But it's just I feel like Cody's debut was wonderful. We were all a little salty because he didn't pop up on Raw the last few weeks. I'm glad he didn't. I think this was a really done debut.
They did a good job. They did a good job, and I know a lot of us were saying that, and people were talking like, "Come on, let's bring him out." People were excited to see him, and they wanted to build. But if we got that build, we wouldn't have had that WrestleMania moment. We wouldn't have had him coming up. His music hits. He come up. The crowd went absolutely insane.
Nuts.
It was fantastic. But let's go ahead and jump back into day 2 because that was already all the way back in day 1. Day 2, like I said, it was different. It kicked off. I don't even have any pictures for these guys, but actually, was that that was the first day. Also, we didn't talk about the Usos either. And Nakamura and Boogs
it didn't need to be on Mania.
Squad.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about it because we don't remember it because it shouldn't have been on Mania.
That's a good
and
point.
I love I love the Usos, and I love Nakamura, and I love Boogs, and I hope Boogs is good. I hope he heals fast because that looked like it hurt. The match was good. It was fine. The match was there was nothing wrong with the match at all.
And the finish was fantastic.
And the finish was great. Boom. And we want Boogs to heal good so he can come back hitting that guitar, and it'll be great.
It'd be great. Well, check it out. The match that a lot of us do care about and actually ended up being way more fun. I actually had to go back and watch this, and I agree with you. I think it was a touch too long, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. This match was absolutely crazy. They pulled all kinds. You had Wee Man's body slamming folks. You had everything that
was the best part of the match for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we get the mousetrap to finish it off. I mean, it was the definition of sports entertainment. It was so much fun. I laughed like good hearty ass belly laugh. I laughed about it. It was fantastic. What a great show. Look, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but I mean, what were your thoughts?
All of that. This match was not for me. This wasn't for me.
No, me either. This was it was one of those things.
Yeah, it was not for me at all. However, I can't ignore the crowd who had a ball watching it.
Had a ball.
Like they were up for this. So the crowd loved it. I think it was 10 minutes too long.
I second that motion. I
And
second that.
other than that, though, shout out to Johnny Knoxville and all the crew because I mean everybody worked
Yes.
really hard. Sami Zayn, him and Kevin Owens, again, you literally give them anything, and they're going
They
to
can
give. They're
do
going to give
anything.
They're going to do everything
Anything.
to make it entertaining, and they usually do.
Uh,
they never fail. They never miss.
real quick, and any thoughts on Bobby Lashley Omos?
The right person went over. The right person went over.
Cool. I'm with you. Cool. How about this? How about
Shout
this
out to
match?
Bobby winning.
Edge versus AJ Styles. This is another one that, and look, I'll be very honest with you, and your comments don't kill me. I know we all love these guys. And in fact, this was one of the ones that I thought was going to steal the weekend for me. And technically, honestly, yes, they did some cool shit. And it was cool to see these guys that I've wanted to see do their thing together, do their thing. This match should have been 15-minute stops. This match ended up being the longest match of the weekend. Literally, it was the longest match of the weekend. This match had zero business being the longest match of the weekend, okay? And if this match wasn't 67 minutes long, we probably would have had more than 2 minutes of the New Day. We would have had, there would have been, and then we would at least, even if they got squashed like they did, we could have had a little bit of storytelling that, would have made a little bit of sense. This match, I love AJ Styles. I love Edge. And honestly, I love what came from it. I like this new faction with the Puerto Rican Rock. I think that shit's dope. Like, I hope, Rhea Ripley comes in
Damian
here.
Priest, the Puerto Rican Rock.
You know what I'm talking about. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Why are you like this? This man called Damian Priest the Puerto Rican Rock. What am I going to do? What are we supposed to do with that? And you can't just toss that out there, sir.
Well,
what are we supposed to do with that?
They're starting off. This is who he is. It's who he is.
I can't.
So we have him. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I love it. I think it's dope. They're talking about, obviously they're prefacing and having somebody else come in joining the faction as well. People are saying, Rhea, I would love if it was Rhea. I think that would be
Great
really
fit.
sick. She would be a perfect fit. And I know in real life, her and Damian are friends. So that would be really sick. I love it. That'd be a really cool idea. I like that. The match, 15 minutes too long. If just me, just saying.
I don't disagree with that. And again, we all had really high expectations for this match.
Such high expectations.
We really did. And I think we set ourselves up for failure. We did. I think that was us. We set ourselves up. We set ourselves up to think this was going to be like the jam, like all of it. And, I can't get over anything that his name was Punishment Martin. That was the thing. He was dope. But anyway, I think that this match, if it was far shorter, would have done what we wanted it to do. We wouldn't be talking about it with this tinge of disappointment. I went back and watched it.
If it was a 10 to 15 minute match and it was just moving, I think we would be talking. It might have stole the weekend, but it didn't.
I don't know if they were ever going to give us that though, like that move. They were all Edge's matches tend to always have this slower element of storytelling, and then they kind of spam the ending. And I think they could have still done that in a shorter period of time. What I will say though is when I did watch it again, it is better the second time watching it.
It is. I
felt exactly like this for Edge and Randy Orton during the 2020 pandemic inside the Performance Center match too. That I was like, I liked it a lot more the second time I watched it. And I was one of the only people to watch it again because it was so long. So I think that this feud isn't over either, which is another reason why I wish it was shorter, because we're going to get another one.
Exactly.
And so I get why they felt like they had to do it. They had to give us this Broadway because it's Mania. And so I understand the reasoning behind doing it, but it just didn't give us what we wanted it to do. So I feel so bad having this tinge of disappointment in that match, even though I still did enjoy it. It was just too long.
It was. It was. And like I said,
But I
it's
love the
no.
Damian Priest joint. I love
I
the
love that.
Edge's
I love that.
entrance was
Told you,
amazing.
yo, the Rick
And
Ross of picking entrance beats. He's
that was
fantastic.
so
My man is a
fly.
monster with it.
So fly. Damian Priest being added to this is amazing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what Damian Priest
And
needs right now.
he needed
Exactly.
a mouthpiece because if he doesn't sound like he has marbles in his mouth, what he's talking about just doesn't make sense. So if he has now somebody who is actually a mouthpiece for him, he is just. I'm talking about chef's kiss. This is fantastic. I love what they're doing with this. I cannot wait to see who
Yeah.
else is in this faction. This is going to be a good
Agreed.
faction. I cannot wait. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about by far the best match of the entire weekend. Pat McAfee versus Austin
by
Theory. I'm playing. It wasn't the best
By
match of the week,
far.
but
By
it was
far
it
his
was
best.
fun. It was so much fun. Pat
It
McAfee
was.
goes out there and just everything about it, the build up, it felt like it was something special. You have first of all, you have Vince walk in, and Vince walks in looking like the Tin Man, look like he needs every little bit of oil he needs, just looking like he's squeaking, walking down the damn thing.
Oil, some
He's just
oil
walking
with
back and
me.
forth, just going. But you know, he went down there, took his seat, and that when you saw Vince coming down the aisle and everything, you knew it was gonna be something. He sits there, he sits down. Obviously, Austin Theory comes down, and yo, I'm sorry, and I know this is part of his character, but Austin Theory saying A-Town down, like, yo, the cultural appropriation, guys.
It
This
bothers Serge
is
so
so
much.
bad. It sucks so bad. A-Town down, like, fam, like, stop it. Can we give him a new gimmick or a new catch? Like, he really wants that to like stick to. Yeah, A-Town down, like that dog. That shit is terrible, but. Good for him. He goes out there, and then Pat McAfee comes out with all of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Great
the
entrance.
whole crowd. Oh,
Great entrance music. Vince went and spend that money.
Yo, time out.
Vince spent that
Is
money for
anybody
that
more
music.
over right now than Pat McAfee? Who
It's
is
not
more
many.
over than
Not
Pat
many.
McAfee? The crowd went absolutely insane, and then the match kicked off, and then the match itself was fun. Pat can wrestle.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. Talk about it, please.
I'm going to say, you've said all the things that I agree with every word you just said. I'm going to be the one that's I'm going to throw the little pin in it, and then I'm going to bring it right back. Everything between Pat McAfee, Austin Theory was perfect. That match was perfect. It was all of sports entertainment. Again, highest level of, if someone asks you what the heck is sports entertainment, you can show them this match as well.
Yes. Yeah.
1000%. The Vince on the side watching touches, perfect. Now,
chef's kiss.
Vince coming into this daggone ring and also having a match is where you lost me. Now, granted, was it entertaining? Of course, but everything took too long. Again, it was just like the timing of this took entirely too long, because now I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? Like, all right, okay, so this is actually happening. Okay, cool. I understand the anticipation build, blah, 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 blah. But once we got to it. Okay, cool. But they got me back because that daggone glass broke. And the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin came in to save the segment.
Yo.
And then you got me again. And now I'm like, well, never mind. I'm so glad we're back. Like, and everyone taking Austin Theory sold the stunner like his name was Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock
he
Johnson.
Stole that stunner. He sold that stunner like that was the only thing he's been waiting to do for his whole life. It was so great. It was so great.
He sold that stunner so well. Like, and I'll say this about, I talk trash about Austin Theory. Yo, great match. He went out there. He sold what he had to do. He did what he had to do. He did a great job. It was such a fun match. He did his job.
Does his job wonderfully.
It was a lot of fun.
And he's got a punchable face, and you're supposed to hate him, so that works.
Most punchable face. It works so well. And okay, let me ask you this. We saw two entertainers come in. Okay, we have Logan Paul. We have Pat McAfee. Do either of these two
ignore Johnny Knoxville?
Johnny Knoxville's like 50. Like, so I'm talking about guys who may be able to do this. So between the two of them,
Yes.
like, do you think we will see either of them again wrestling?
We have
In
to.
a big. Okay. Would
We
you like
have
to see
to.
them in a more? Okay.
We
Go ahead.
have to. Pat,
Yeah.
this is Pat McAfee's second match, technically. So we've seen
Yes.
him already again on the again tip. We're gonna see him again. That's going to happen. Logan Paul has a whole brother. That's gonna happen. And you can if my production brain was braining when his brother was being used for the pre-show, that was an audition.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can tell. He was like, "Can I be
So
a yeah?" He wants
how
to be
can
the
I be
manager.
down? I
Yeah,
want to be down. How can I be down?
for sure. For sure.
So we're gonna see both of them again, just like we saw Bad Bunny more than once as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we saw him more than once. So we're gonna see
Okay.
them again, and we should.
Here's the question of questions. Bad Bunny, Pat McAfee, Logan Paul. Who's the best wrestler? Let me know in the comments.
I'm gonna still say Bad Bunny because
Ooh.
and I'm gonna just say because
Saxton did take the stunner pretty wide.
he
He
always
took it
does.
like DJ
He
also.
always does. He always does. That's not his first stunner, you know what I mean? And he always does, and it's great. It's always a good time. I think Bad Bunny is the better one out of those three because I think he can do more in the ring. He can do that he's got that luchador sprinkle on him too. The other two ain't going. I mean, Pat might try it, but he might break.
Pat gonna try it.
Pat will try it. Pat will absolutely try it. Which is lovely. But Pat is great. Pat does things that Bad Bunny can't do either. So it's tough. Pat's got the other stuff. Like he's got the selling. He sells really well, and he does all of he can talk, and there is that language barrier problem, I guess, if you want to call it a problem. I don't like to say that, but Pat and Bad Bunny, because they actually trained, like wrestler rings in they crib trained. Logan trained for this.
Yeah. And he's just athletic, so he can pull it off.
He's just athletic. And if Logan trained like them, then he's got all the skills. He's got all the tools. It's hard. Yeah. These three are just really, you could tell based on, we used to have celebrity matches with like Snooki from Jersey Shore. So that's what we used to get. So we're just being spoiled right now with celebrities who actually care and want to train and actually look good in the ring, doing the actual moves and want to gain the respect of the people that are in the ring with them. And I think that's the part that's important. And that's why we get spoiled with these really cool, fun celebrity matches that actually are great.
I loved it. I really loved it. And I will say this. When I saw Vince take off his shirt, it was at that moment that I looked at. It was like one of those moments where you like break the fourth wall. You ever sit there by yourself and just look next to you like you're looking in the camera like it's a rom-com or some shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I looked over and I was like, and this is where we jump the shark. Like this is that moment. This is where we are. We jumped the shark. But then, like I said,
WWE gotta go. They always gotta go too far, and then
they brought it back with the glass break. Stone Cold goes out there, and Stone Cold again. He had more fun this weekend than he has had in years.
Living his best life.
His best. Him and Pat McAfee were living their best life. It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. That one was a great match. But let's go ahead and we're gonna close the show out today by talking about the most stupendous match of them all. The greatest match in WrestleMania history. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, God mode, the GOAT, whatever else you want to call him. Some people even call him Joe. The one.
Why?
This man retains and gets it. He is the champ of all champs, the king of all kings, the undisputed champion of the WWE. What were your thoughts on this match? And honestly, where do you think we go from here?
I think this match was simple. We've seen Brock and Roman 6 times, I think. Wait,
hold on. Everything's off the dome. Everything is off
this must be on SERG. ah, Serge, someone said you need to put it on a t-shirt. I got notes, Serge. That's a new Fight Podcast t-shirt. Go ahead and run
I got
that. Get that
notes.
in there. I got notes.
I got notes. Oh, hey, we still haven't talked about Raw. I got notes.
Yes. So this match was everything it needed to be. I know some people were a little underwhelmed with it and all that. I think this match was absolutely everything it needed to be. Hard hitting. Heck, we most of us thought Roman got hurt for real because he was selling so good. And I think this was everything it needed to be. It was hard hitting. It was a really good pace. We talked about slower matches from earlier. This thing wasn't that slow. This thing kind of kept going and kept moving. It was hard hitting, and it ended the way, we thought it was going to end. I wasn't underwhelmed by it. I thought it was exactly what it was going to be. It was absolutely everything it was going to always be. And
I thought it was fun.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
Hard hitting.
It was
quick.
fun. It was,
big
hard
dudes
hitting,
beating
quick.
each other up.
yeah, big meaty dudes slapping meat. Like it is what we thought it was gonna be. They go out there. You can tell that these two have an immense amount of respect for each other.
Absolutely.
They went out there. They worked hard, and it was what we wanted to. And again, we're talking about the storytelling, showing that Roman is the type of dude who he'll do whatever he got to do to win. You know what I'm saying? We're continually building that villain. Right. And even like you said, people thinking he was shoot hurt when he was out there just selling, you know what I'm saying? Going out there doing his thing. Like what he has done since he has come back. And I think he might do better. He does better than most. And most that I could even remember is that the way he talks to the camera and to the people during the match. Because most people will talk to each other, right? Like Stone Cold used to get in your face, talk shit, blah, blah, blah. He's saying his thing. But Roman would talk to you at home. He talks to the camera. He does different things. And I think that's one of the things that makes this character of the tribal chief so special. You know what I'm saying? And for him to be out there selling
and
it.
You believe him.
And you believe
you believe every word that man
Absolutely.
says. It's not the evolution of him. We didn't always believe everything he said, which is why he had a tough time with the crowd to begin with. Right? We believe him now. And I think that is all him. That is all, like you said, going directly into the camera, looking into the eyes of everybody and forcing you to acknowledge him. And it's like, yes, sir. Okay. We believe everything he has to say. And I think that is a testament to not just him or not just to him, but also to every opponent that he's had to have. Moving forward. Brock, it is legendary. When Brock likes you, he's gonna sell for you. And when I say that man, I think the best selling I've ever the only people I've ever seen Brock really sell for like that was like Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? And
that was ones he respects.
It's really, which is great because you got to work really hard to make Brock Lesnar look like he's in trouble.
It's true. It's true.
Not everyone can do that. And you know what I mean? So I think that it's a like we always talk about it being a dance. It's a beautiful dance. And it was great. It was fun. And it was everything I thought it was going to be. Of course, we all kind of hoped The Rock would come out and challenge.
Oh, and I was just going to ask you that. Like, first of all, we have some super sleuths out there. And I was over here, like I said, just like, my boy, I'm in Atlanta right now, just like my boy, Big Boy also. Whoa, I know that's not who I think it is over there. Like I looked over and I know we seen The Rock's mama in the crowd. And I know when we seen The Rock's mama in the crowd, I know my skeptical hippo eyes opened up. I know I was in that motherfucker, like, looking back and forth, like, my palms were getting sweaty. And tell me I was not the only one that sat there until that fucking thing went off and said, this coverage is ended. I sat there like, look, you know what? I think The Rock's coming, guys. No, he's really coming. I swear he's coming. I'm over here telling my girl, hey, babe, don't go nowhere. DJ's
The Rock's coming.
He's coming. I seen his mama. He's coming. The nigga never showed up. I was sitting there left just feeling shitty.
You know what's crazy? And you know what's crazy about that is like, do you think that crowd would have they had 2 nights of Stone Cold. If we heard If You Smell, do you think they would have I feel like folks would have had heart attacks and like heart palpitations. I just feel
Yeah,
like it might have been a lot.
I would have just passed out. I would have been sitting at my
Just
couch, just laying on the
call it
floor.
a day. Call it a day.
It'd
I
have been
mean,
too much.
I wanted that, and I still want that. I was looking for it, yesterday at Raw After Mania. I'm like, okay, this is when he's coming out. Nope, he's not. Okay, never mind.
Wait, hold on,
I
hold on,
don't,
hold on. They said apparently Brock wanted the unification match and the WWE
oh,
did not.
yeah,
Got a little tea.
okay, that's
Appreciate
fairly
that.
believable.
I believe that. I
Either,
can
I
see that.
mean, I'm glad they went with it. Whoever's idea it was, I'm glad they went
Yeah,
with it.
for
Again,
sure.
we talked about them being just too many titles, and making the big ones mean something is important.
Bro, I'm telling you, the right person won, but if The Rock came out, oh my God, I would have lost everyone. It honestly, if The Rock came out, people would have talking about this was the greatest Mania in ever. That's what people
I
would have
think
talked
it would
about.
have been. I think
Yeah,
that would have.
that would have put it over the top. This would have
In
made it the best
totality?
in totality. This would have been the greatest Mania ever if The Rock came out. Y'all were the y'all. You just had to go another yard. You had to just spend another
You just
mil.
had
Just
to.
throw the money at the problem, and we would have had the best Mania ever. Now, which brings me to my next point.
Yes. Surgeon his notes, y'all. Here they come.
Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw comes around.
It's okay, sir.
And I am buzzing. I am sitting here like, yo, there's so many possibilities. We got stuff coming. I cannot wait. I said fucking Veer's coming. Like, dude, this shit is going to be nuts. Right? Like, I knew it. I just absolutely knew everything was gonna happen. And then I'm sitting here and I'm watching, and it starts, and I see Cody Rhodes, and I'm like, oh, they gonna do it, dude. Don't hurt him. I knew it, dude. I am sitting here. I got butterflies up to here. I cannot wait. And then from that moment forward, Vince should have just walked out in the middle of that ring and dropped a fucking deuce. Okay?
Why are you like this?
What did I watch? This was terrible.
Serge,
you didn't give me anything. Nobody, and again, everybody told me, Serge, be careful. They got this lull, the WrestleMania lull. Serge, WrestleMania.
Did we not tell you about the post WrestleMania lull? We told you about this.
I don't know what postpartum feels like, but this is what it must feel like. This is ridiculous. I sat here and I was just befuddled. Okay. First of all, Veer. This man comes out here, okay, and okay. Why do the Miz and the Mysterios have a 30-second match? What's the purpose of that? I don't understand. We just saw this. Well, why are we doing it? And why does he just squash them? And then why is it the guy who wins just casually leaves? And then why does this guy wait? Hold on, where's my man's at? Where is he? Veer. He actually showed up on this day, April 4th. He came. Veer was coming. Veer showed up. On the 4th, he was there. Right. He did this thing, and I'm telling you, Veer better run through Omos. He better run through Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at the same time. Because if he does not, this was a fail. This doesn't make any sense. I hated this. Bianca comes out there. You're not giving me any story. She just goes out there and says, look, I got a black eye. Salute. I appreciate that. I see you. But you're not building nothing else. You're not telling me this was a bad episode. And it pisses me off that you have so much potential. What are we saving it? Am I tripping?
No, you are not tripping. This is the thing. I think we have been.
Oh, hold on. I didn't even think about it. Who Ezekiel?
Yes, Ezekiel. I was gonna get there. Ezekiel. I was gonna go there. I have it.
Come on.
Listen. Anybody else, any old school wrestling fans, think that when Ezekiel popped up on the Tron, that Ezekiel Jackson was coming back to wrestling? Anyway, I could have. Maybe I was the only one. Listen, the Raw After Mania is either the Raw After Mania is either amazing or terrible. There's literally no in between. Where we didn't get the thing about Raw After Mania is we're thinking we're going to get some debuts. We're thinking we're going to start some new feuds. We're going to move some stories forward. We're going to, it's the season premiere after the season finale, right? And we got very lukewarm versions of that. Elias Ezekiel thing. Shout out to Elias being smart enough to be like, no, I'm Elias's little brother Ezekiel. I thought that was hilarious. I actually laughed really loud when he said that. But I hope we're not trying to be for real serious, but who knows? It's sports entertainment. Who knows?
Yeah, we have him
the
versus
best
Kevin
part of
Owens.
Why? I mean,
Why?
we know Kevin Owens can do everything.
Yes.
But that's why. But why?
But
the other, I'm gonna highlight the two great.
There's only one thing that I can think of, but please give me two.
I'm clumping a few into one.
Okay.
All three major promo segments were great. I wrote, and it was right, Katie girl. We wanted them. We wanted them. Where was Asuka? Where's Bailey? Like those are two.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with Bianca, like how are you not going to set it up? How does Bailey not show up? How does anybody not pop up? And who is the next challenger? You literally just had her say, "Hey guys, I won. Look at my black eye. Peace."
But
which is
her promo was still good. So I'm
it was
the
very
promo
good.
segments.
It was very good.
The promo segments from the champs that and Cody. So Cody's promo, great. Cody's promo was great. This is a promo he's done. He's done a version of that promo in AEW at least twice, but it's always good. So he did that. Wonderful. Nailed it. Also, his story trajectory makes perfect sense. My dad never won the title. Yeah. I will. Period. Yeah. Love that.
I love it.
Easy. It writes itself. Wonderful. Yeah. Bianca's promo, although it should have been followed by a story progression, was still good. So very good. Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler having an NXT championship match that nobody knew about.
I'm not mad at that.
Was a very good, a very good idea for Raw, and Braun winning it back is great. Those were the three. Oh, and four. I have one more.
Okay. You had much more than I did.
Bobby Lashley, Omos, MVP segment.
MVP that was the best
turning on Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
MVP turning on Bobby Lashley and now becoming Omos's person.
Makes sense.
I think it's great. That is called story progression.
Exactly. Because Omos,
which is why we like it.
he is no bueno on the mic, and you give him to one of, if not, top two on the mic.
MVP's
you know what
great.
I'm saying? MVP's fantastic. It makes sense in terms of the storyline. I even liked when he came out there, the way he pretty much said when he was introducing Bobby Lashley, he didn't need me this weekend. Even the way he put it out there, it was such a beautiful, again, chef's kiss. He just a perfect little breadcrumb to what was going to happen. And then when the turn happened, it was perfect. It was great. Even when he jumped him, you don't need me, huh? You don't need me. Yeah. You saw it again. It's storytelling. It's story. And here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we see the Hurt Business all of a sudden pop up with kicking it with fucking Omos.
Because that's the logical progression, right? Or do they back Bobby, right?
Bobby, right? There you can go either way.
Or is it 1-1? Does one back Bobby, one back Omos and MVP?
I would love, right.
And then we can get Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander's extremely talented selves doing something
that I would ridiculously split the two of them. That would be great. That would be again. Why aren't you working there? Come on.
I'm just saying. So that is a maybe a low. I don't want to call it lower tier, but that is story progression, and we wanted to repeat that about 4 different times on Raw, and we didn't get any of that. We just got we got that one, which is why it's so underwhelming. Roman's promo of "I'm the best, y'all." Duh. He does that promo for the last 2 years. We know. Great. Wonderful. It was fine, but what's next? What's next? Yeah. So our hope is that SmackDown is cool. It gives us something.
Yeah.
Anything.
We'll see. Like I said, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with SmackDown. I am hopeful. But I think this is what why people, knock WWE. Like, and here's my question. I'm gonna
Inconsistent.
ask
Yeah.
all my wrestling fans, everybody in the comments right now, and this is a real question, okay? Because for me, it was one of those things that, like, how is it possible? You have us invested, you have us sucked in, you have all the story making capability. Prime example, I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, right? I grew up in Chicago, grew up on the north side or west side. I grew up on the west side. So you, when you're in Chicago, being a Cubs fan, Cubs sucked forever. When I say suck, we were terrible. But we didn't start winning until people stopped going to games. People stopped going to games. All of a sudden, guess what? 2016 happened, right? Why are we still continually giving these people money when they said Vince continues to give us shit? And then all of a sudden just throws a little like star like once a year, and then right afterwards gives us shit again. How is it possible that the WWE, again, I'm dead ass asking a question. Why do we continue to be fans of somebody who doesn't give you what you want?
I got it. I have the answer. It's twofold. Number one, we're not fans of necessarily the company. We're fans of the talent.
Okay.
So most people, I think, I'll speak to myself. I'm fans of the talented individuals and the human beings involved with this, right?
Okay.
And what they do. And I'm happy for them. And I'm excited to see what they get to do, right? And what storylines they get to be a part of, and how the machine is going to push them through.
For sure.
That's my number one, right? That's why, I'm a fan of the wrestlers. I'm a fan of them. I could really care less what company they wrestle for. I'm a fan of them, Obviously, the WWE's been around so long. That's all a lot of people and most people know, which is another reason why when people think wrestling, they think WWE. They don't realize that there's multiple companies and other choices.
Absolutely.
So that's another.
It's like the UFC.
Correct. So it's exactly like that. So they've had a monopoly on the business for so long. Exactly. Where, that's what they're going to get a casual fan, or because that's the only thing they know off top.
Yep.
AEW and other companies. AEW is the one I'm going to mention because it's the only other one that has a major television deal. Impact has a television deal, but it's not major, right?
No.
You're watching an NBA basketball game. You're going on TBS. You're going to get an AEW Dynamite and Rampage, commercial. Right. That's not WWE. So they're the only ones that are even attempting to kind of tap into that same type of fan. So to answer your question, that's why it's still as but WWE is still as popular as they are, even if the product quality isn't always that great. The other thing is they don't just ramp it up for one pay-per-view a season. They ramp it up for 4, right? There's a pay-per-view or premium live event every month.
Them pay-per-views been booty.
But we've got the big 4. It's fly for Mania. It's fly for SummerSlam. It's fly for Survivor Series. It's fly for Royal Rumble. It's fly-ish for Money in the Bank. So I'll even say 4.5, right? Okay. So they think about those like 4 to 5 times a year when the storylines are like more interesting than most.
Okay.
That's how they keep you. That's how they keep us.
It makes sense. And look, I'm saying that, and I guess I'm saying it more to pose the question because it's not like I'm gonna stop watching. Like I'm locked in. I don't give a shit. Like I'm a glutton for punishment.
He's with us now. He's finally there. When he got.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't care. I was just like, this sucks. I can't believe it. I literally texted Dre and I was like, yo, like I'm saying all this, but I'm just venting. It's not like I'm not gonna stop watching. I'm just venting. Like I had to vent to somebody. Like this is terrible. But
and what did I tell you? I said, "Welcome to the club. You're here. You're here now.
I made it. I've officially. Thanks, guys. I made it.
He's had his first real disappointment.
Oh my god, it was terrible. And look, so next week, guys, is gonna be back to like a regular show. Where we're gonna go ahead. We'll talk. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more AEW and everything else. I mean, obviously ROH has done their thing. we Samoa Joe is back in action doing his thing. The GOAT Samoa Joe is out there doing his thing. There's so much great stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling. I mean, dude, Swerve was at the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
Chilling
Nah, I
on
mean,
the red
just
carpet.
chilling. So much amazing thing happened. But before we get out of here, is there anything else in the world of pro wrestling, or should I say WrestleMania wise, that you would like to highlight?
One time for the King of Kings, the game, Triple H. One time. We gotta give Triple H his props. He officially retired. He started.
Awesome
I think
moment.
that was night.
Awesome
was that
moment.
night two or night one? I can't remember now. Night two, I think.
That was
He
night two.
kicked
That was
off
night
night two, put in his boots, did his whole entrance with the water and all of that.
Loved it.
Put his boots in the ring, and gave us the official amount.
Yeah, the
and
peace
it
out.
was
It was
and it
awesome.
was well deserved. It's beautiful. I mean, Triple H is, he was always, I think, during the time when we were watching like that, like right in the mix of all the like really big joints that we loved, but they always needed a heel to fight, and it was always him. And
it was awesome. He was the best. The game.
To me, some of the dopest wrestling I remember watching when I was watching it the most when I was younger is The Rock and Triple H fighting over everything, any and all things. Anytime they ever fought,
I couldn't stand Triple H.
Exactly.
Because I love The Rock, and he was doing his job. And then when I hear about what he has done for these athletes outside of the mentorship and what he has meant to those people, as people, really makes me respect them and salute to the game, salute to Triple H on a fantastic in career. I mean, just come on, surefire Hall of Famer, dude is incredible. He's one of the ghosts. Throw all the flowers at him. It was incredible. But look, I loved it all in all. And again, this is, me, I like having a tight 45. This is double that.
This is a grande one.
Yes. So like I said, I appreciate you guys for sticking in there with me, those who are watching live on the Scrap News and on the Fight Podcast YouTube page. A couple news and notes. You guys, actually, if you are watching this weekend, Triple G is actually competing this weekend in a boxing match. That should be a really, really dope match. But I tell you guys to tell you this, I just started doing a little deal with the at the Buzzer. So the Buzzer, follow them at the at Buzzer. It's like a New York sports kind of brand and stuff like that, but I'll be doing the post fight there. So I'll be doing some post fight on Twitter Spaces, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. I'll be doing some Twitter Spaces for Buzzer this weekend, and that should be a really good time. So check me out there. Also check out everything else Fight Podcast is doing. Check out my sister from another mister. She's on this side, Miss Dre Day. Let the people know where they can find ya.
You can find me at Miss Dre 20 on Twitter, Miss Dre Day on IG. You'll see me posting dance stuff, wrestling stuff, random stuff, all stuff. I'm out here doing the things with my boy Serge, my bro. We are out here, the Fight Podcast. Yes, please. All of that, Katie. Agreed with all of that.
I love it. All right, y'all. And like I said, since we're doing everything else, like I said, and you know how it is. It's one of those things. We doing new things, we growing. And when that kind of stuff happens, we got to tell people this.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. He's certified.
For those who had to know, love y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.